You know, I'm an ordinary man with an extraordinary job, not the other way around. So it's all gravy for me. You know, when I was younger, I used to coach a lot. Mm-hmm. And nothing you coach kids in sports. Nothing made me happier than seeing other people do well. You know, with the training that I had, that's the way we were trained. To play any part, there's no such thing as you can't play a part. You may not be right for it, but I don't think there's a part I can't attempt to play. I can at least analyze and try to break down and put a performance together. It may not be any good, but I was taught, one of the things that I was taught that sticks in my mind was a gentleman by the name of Bill Ball, who was the artistic director of the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco. And he always talked about failing big. So if you're gonna fail, fail big. I like that for life. I'm not a fall back mentality kind of person. People would say, well, you know, you better have another career to fall back on. I'm like, I don't wanna fall back on anything. If I fall, I wanna fall forward. I never understood that mentality.
I didn't either.
I never understood it. I'm like, I'm going that way. There was an IQ question, I think it was an IQ question, where they had 9 dots. And you had to connect the dots, I think, with 5 lines without lifting the pencil. The only way you could do it was to go outside the box. You know, and people sit there within it. You can't do it. Well, you can't. Nobody said you can't go outside the box.
When you're trying to become successful, it's going to be incredibly challenging, but you have to wake up and be excited every single day. You want to pursue greatness every single morning. Wake up in the morning and make your priority being better than you were the day before. Always strive to be improving, always try to be better, and always try to be the best version of you each and every single day. Now, you're going to have to make big changes, but little changes every day so that you can see progress here and there and look back and be excited about what you've done and excited for the future and what you could possibly be doing.
You know, the thing about great writing, August Wilson, Eugene O'Neill, you name it, Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams, there's so many layers. It's not just one thing. It's open to interpretation. You know, I've heard people say things, well, I felt he was this and that. I was like, oh, I never thought about that, but okay. You know, people ask me, what do I want them to get from the film? I say, well, it depends upon what they bring to it. So what you see in Troy or feel about Troy has to do with your own life and standards and all that. Here's the thing you gotta remember. When you talk about racial and you talk about discrimination, maybe, what if he just wasn't good enough? See, it's so easy to just say, oh, it's because of this. It's because of racism. Oh, I didn't get the job because of that. Maybe you weren't good enough. Maybe, like his wife says, you were just too old. She says, why don't you just admit it? You were too old. He's the one that's hung up on, each generation is trying to do better for the next generation. That's what Rose could see by wanting her son to get an education, but Troy couldn't see. For him, his son doing better was him getting his son a job at the sanitation department. For his wife, the son doing better was getting a good education and going to college. So each generation, regardless of race, each generation, Polish, African American, whatever, is usually trying to help the next generation do better. Today's the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there, it's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress.
So thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section below.